What do you do when positive thinking is not working? Hi, my name is Justine, and I am your go to guide for unhurried, stress free, and effortless living. So, aside from being a coach and also building my community, I also facilitate training on positivity. And when I give my trainings, one of the questions, or when I ask my audience, questions like, okay, what do you do when worry creeps? What do you do when you have a problem? What do you do if such and such occur in your life? And most of the answers that I receive from them, from the participants, is just be positive. Think positively. Um, just think positive. Okay, okay, good. But what does just be positive means for you? What does just think positively means for you? What is positive thinking? So, you know, um, I would say that positive thinking is just one part of the equation. Okay, positive thinking alone cannot really help you navigate your life. Okay, if you want to change something, you want to change yourself, you want to change the trajectory of your life, or like positive thinking won't help you. Okay, because what's more important is what is running in the background. Okay, what is going or running through your systems. Okay, what is in your subconscious mind. So, what do you believe in, and what are the stories that you tell yourself? This, your belief system, the stories that you tell yourself, this greatly influence how you respond or how you react, how you are showing up in your life. Okay, so conscious thinking is good. It's a good effort. Don't get me wrong. It's very important to be intentional with how we think and what we think about. But we also need to give effort and be more intentional in changing the belief systems that we have. Okay, so whatever's going through the unconscious mind, we also need to be deliberate in changing that. Saying words of affirmations, thinking positively are good practices, but it's not enough. And if you really want to, like if you're going through something, it's like putting on a band-aid, but you're not really treating the cause of the wound. Okay, you're just treating the symptom. You're not really treating the wound. Okay. So anyway, in this video, I do want to um, give you some of the tools that you can do to help you in changing your belief system. Okay, in creating a change in your life. So what we're aiming for here is creating new empowering beliefs and changing your way of being. Now, there are lots of things that you can do, okay, and we don't have like enough time to cover everything, but I do want to share the top three practices that you can immediately do and implement in your life. Okay, so number one is purge it out of your system. And by it, I mean your old limiting beliefs. So, whatever negative stories that, um, disempowering stories that you have, purge it out. And how do we purge it out? So, one powerful way that you can do that is get a piece of paper and write them all down. Okay, whatever limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, about life, about um, whatever stories that you have about relationships, finances, spirituality, family, like growth, education, like everything. Just purge it all out. Okay. So what we're doing here is, okay. So imagine that you have your cup. Okay. So you have your cup. Your cup is your mind. Okay. And then if your cup is filled with the negative beliefs, no matter how much positive thinking you do, no matter how many times you say words of affirmations, it wouldn't really, um, like, it will just spill over. It would really be in the cup because your cup is already full. So, what you need to do is to remove, throw out, purge whatever the content of your cup is. Okay. So in this case, purge out the negatives. And you also need to bring to light whatever beliefs you have. Because as I really believe that in any kind of change in our lives, we need to become aware of what we need to change. But with awareness comes the power to choose how we can change our lives. Okay. So yeah, so write them down. Now after writing them down, you get another piece of paper and then you write what are the new empowering beliefs that I want to replace the old with. Okay, so let's say that you have this story about yourself that I am stupid. Okay, and so what's the new story that you can create for yourself? I am every day I'm learning, I'm growing and getting better and better each day. So that's one example. Okay, now this is a bonus activity for you. So after you've written down all the limiting beliefs and then you've written down the corresponding empowering beliefs that you want to replace the old with, you take out old the paper with the old limiting beliefs, and then what you can do is you do a ritual of release. Okay, so maybe you can crumple it and throw it out. Or if you want, you can like cut the paper, okay? And then as you're doing this, you're saying, I'm letting go of the old, I'm releasing the negative, I'm letting go of the limiting beliefs I have, and then throw them out, okay? And then that's like a powerful, simple thing that you can do to release it, okay? So it's a physical activity, it's not just like mental, it's not just saying it, but it's actually doing it. Okay, you anchor it. So there. Okay. Now a word of caution. So when you do this exercise, don't expect that that the change will happen just like that. Okay. Snap. With a snap of a finger, or this is going to be an overnight thing. No. Okay. This is a process. It will take time. Okay. So however, whatever your age is now, just think about that. If you're in your 20s now, for 20 years, you've been carrying these belief systems in your mind, okay, and it was built up over the years. So don't expect for yourself to just release and let them go and change your beliefs overnight. Okay, be gentle with yourself. Okay, it will take time. It will take time. The important thing is that one, you now have awareness, and then two, you're doing the practice of being intentional and deliberate with what you're now feeding your mind. And this takes me to the second tool, which is to brainwash yourself. Okay, so every day we are being brainwashed. Okay, there's a story about like in our minds there are two wolves. Okay, so one is a positive and one is a negative. The question is, which wolf are you feeding? Are you feeding the positive wolf or are you feeding the negative wolf? And what do you feed your, what is the food? What is their food? So whatever you're bringing into your life. So this could be, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? And all that. Okay. So you have to be intentional with how you want to be brainwashed. Okay. If you really want to create new empowering beliefs, then you have to find reading materials, videos, audios, and all this stuff that would inspire you, that would encourage you, that would motivate you, that would feed that positive wolf in our minds. Okay, so um, you have to be intentional with what you put in your head. Okay, and then um, so you cannot really change other people, and we are limited but by how much change we can affect the world, but you can control your environment in such a way that you can control what you feed your mind and you can control for the people that you are surrounding yourself with. Okay, so just think about that. Okay, and then for the third and last tool, you have to celebrate every milestones. You have to celebrate every little step that you take towards embodying a new way of being. Okay, you have to celebrate every win, every success, every accomplishment that you have. So this is also connected to how are you relating to yourself? How are you talking to yourself? Are you, do you have like a positive, loving, encouraging uh, dialogue with yourself, or is it full of criticism and negative self-talk and hate, right? Like, so be intentional with how you relate to yourself. I remember when I was still starting on my journey of creating new beliefs, because I used to be like a really pessimistic person. Like you might not believe it, but I used to every like the running script in my head is like all negative, all full of hate, full of like criticism and belittling myself and all that. So um, whenever like okay, for example, like if I make a mistake, like my immediate self-talk is, ah, John, you're so stupid. But when I was on my way, like when I was starting creating these new beliefs, so I make a mistake, and then the response is, oh, you're so stupid. And then immediately after that, oh, wait, no, sorry, you are, you're not stupid. Okay, you made a mistake. You made a mistake, but it doesn't mean that you're stupid. Okay, it's part of being human. Okay, it's natural. What are you, like, how can you learn from this mistake? So I engage myself in positive dialogue. Okay, and that small step of, even though I had that immediate negative self-talk, but I immediately followed it with a positive dialogue, then that is a win. That is an accomplishment. And So I celebrated, okay, and then just be intentional until like now when I make a mistake. Oh, great mistake. That's it. Like it's just an observation. Okay. Um, like there's no immediate criticism happening inside already now. So yeah. So again, it takes time. Okay, it is a process, but you don't need to wait like for you to be totally changed before you celebrate. In fact, what you really need to do is to celebrate every progress that you make. Every day that you wake up um, feeling grateful and then ending the day with gratitude as well with how you showed up in your life. You know, even if you feel that you weren't able to give your best, you still give yourself encouragement. You still give yourself that benefit of the doubt that, okay, maybe today is not such a good day, but I am proud of you for waking up, for showing up, and I'm proud of you that. And then you list down specific things like, even though you just want to hide in your room, you got up, you showered, you you went out, even though you feel like you just want to escape from the world, you read an inspirational book, so stuff like that. Um, find evidences of yourself really making those steps towards progress. Okay, I would even encourage you to write them down. Okay, if you're not into journal writing yet, maybe this is the time to start. Every year, like I do like a ritual for myself wherein I scan my previous journals, and it just amazes me how different, how much I've grown over the years. Like before, my journal is used to be filled with like complaints, you know, whining, blaming myself, negative self-talk, pessimistic view of the world, of myself. But now it's different. Like there's so much joy, there's so much peace, there's so much love and praise and gratitude, and it's just amazing to have an actual physical evidence of how much you've grown, right? So yeah. And then another thing here, just very important to note. What's happening here is that your old self and the new you that is wanting to emerge, they're going to have a battle. Okay, it's going to be a battle between the old you and the new you. Okay, it's totally normal. Okay, it's a natural part of the process. Okay, and it might also seem like there will be times, days wherein you will fall back, you will fall back to old habits, to old way of thinking. That's also natural. That's also part of the change process. So during those times, just be gentle with yourself and continue to move onward. Okay, and then yeah, and you have to realize that your old you is just wanting to protect you. Okay, even though it's painful, but what you were comfortable with is that feeling of pain, that feeling of negativity. That's what you're accustomed to. And even though we get it in our head that it's not so good, but that is what's safe, that is what's certain, that's what's comfortable. Change, any kind of change, especially this big, threatens our identity. And So a good chunk of ourselves will try to preserve that old identity. It's it's going to be a battle. And and what will happen here is really you have to kill your old self so that the new you can be reborn, or yes, the real you can be reborn, can be fully expressed in your life. Okay, so yes, but the process of going through that, it's going to be difficult, challenging, and I'm saying this not to discourage you, but to actually let you know that it's a natural part of the process. So just continue showing up for yourself, the person that you are becoming every day. Okay, so there. And this is a bonus. So I said earlier, like you have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to be intentional with what you feed your mind. So if you are not yet part of my VIP list, I would like to invite you to sign up to my mailing list. Okay, justinbulan.com/subscribe. I'll be putting the link in the description. I send out weekly dose of inspiration. So this is one way that you can curate what you allow in your space. And then also I'm being pulled to create and hold a space for 5 amazing women this coming June. Uh, so this will be the journey will be focused on self-discovery. Okay, I'm still downloading the details, but if you feel called to join me in this journey, given the limited details that I've given you, but this is for women who are going through a transition, a change, maybe in their careers or in their path, like, or maybe you're thinking of changing your career or your life path, and this path is pulling you towards answering your life's calling, your passion, your heart's desires. Um, so this is for you, okay? Or maybe you want to get to know yourself on a much deeper level. This is for you. With clarity towards yourself, comes clarity towards where life is inviting us to go, and with clarity comes the courage to pursue our paths. Okay. So anyway, if somehow that tickles your fancy, got you curious, so just send me a message. I'll be putting my email address in the description. So just reach out to me and let me know that you're interested, and I'd be happy to share more details with you um, in the future. So in the coming days, I mean. So there. I hope that this video has been helpful for you, and please feel free to share this with um, people that you might think would benefit from hearing this message. Don't know whose life could change by a simple click of the share button or the forward button. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for your time, and see you next time. Peace, love, and light.